It was always a thing for me. I didn't think anything of it. I want to be a footballer, but to ever happen is something you dream of.
What a breathtaking strike from Alfie Doughty! Doughty's delivery finds its way in. Across Doughty! Alfie Doughty has found it for John!
It's not just a case of recruiting players, but it's a case of retaining players. Alfie was one of those players.
Bit of a frustrating time for you, isn't it?
This injury isn't a small one.
It was a tough period for him. Tried to be there for him as much as I could.
There's always times when you have to flick the switch.
That's confident play by Doughty, and a chance here for Bond. Oh, it's in!
Young player of the year, Alfie.
Doughty drills it. Oh, what a goal! Luton Town will be a Premier League club next season.
It was just the best day ever.
I've got mum, got my dad, and my little sister. Little sister's 21, so she's getting old now, just as much as I am. And then got me, old man, and my mum, who we've all lived in the same household together. We like to do a lot of things together, and yeah, there was never much pressure, but we do expect standards off each other, which was always expected. But yeah, it was just how I grew up, and I don't think anything of it really. Don't think anything different. I used to get asked a lot about what my dad does, because my dad used to travel a lot. He used to travel to a lot of countries. I have fond memories of picking him up from the airport, me and mum. And a lot of people go, "Where is he now?" And I'd go, "Oh, mate, he's like in South Africa or Singapore and stuff like that." And they go, "What does he do? He must be like an agent or whatever." But I used to have no idea what he used to do, so we used to come up with a solution.
Does Alfie, he told us a story, does he know what you do for work?
No, he just basically tells people that I'm in charge of toilet paper.
Whenever someone asked me what does he do for a living, I'd go, he sells toilet paper. And as a family, we agreed that that was probably the best option, because no one's going to ask any further questions. At least you're getting paid to sell toilet paper.
I always say, because he just said, "Dad, I really get confused about what you do. Can you just give me a basic description?" I went, "Yeah, okay, I'll look after the toilet roll. If a site runs out of toilet roll, I'll replace it."
It was only until probably recently that I actually found out what he does for a living, and it's a bit less cooler than that.
So I work in property. We look after clients' leases, their building infrastructure projects. So for a bit much like, say, Luton, we would manage the estate on behalf of Luton. It would be a way I would describe it, really. I got different, I suppose the first memories of him kicking a football in the garden with me is probably the earliest memories, and just wanting to, and actually it started with a great big inflatable early learning football that he was obsessed with the blow up inflatable goals. And I used to come home from work, and he would always want me to sit in the garden and just, play in the garden and kick the football backwards and forth. That was kind of the first thing.
My dad would always make me kick a ball, do like 50 on one side, 50 on the other side, like touches with right and left.
I used to make him sort of take like mini corners. He'd take 10 on his right and he'd have to get those right, and then he'd be allowed to take some on his left. So that was kind of a, win and, do well, get a reward kind of mentality. And some people say, "Oh, you're a bit cruel," but we used to just do it because I just wanted to be comfortable using both feet as much as possible.
It was always a thing for me. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Like, you don't, as a young boy, like, you're always like, I want to be a footballer, but to ever happen is something you dream of.
Is this the one where you sort of see him like play?
Little combination. I sort of thought, blimey, I've seen him do that like for Luton a few times.
Yeah.
So I think this is, I was saying earlier, I feel like this is where I realised I was a pretty poor parent when it comes to take in memories of games and things like that. But in my defence, I think a lot of it was down to we didn't get a chance to take photographs. We were kind of restricted with people. Certainly in the academies, you weren't really allowed to take photographs. So you would sort of take the video footage that they gave you, so official photography. But I've got a few things here that I keep around the house, and I suppose this one in particular I need to get a better copy of this, but I absolutely love this photo for a number of reasons. This is when we set up a team called Epsom Eagles.
We had a really good team actually. It was played, I think it was like five years old.
We had a great coach, Darren Chapman, who he and I worked together on getting the team set up, and the end result on this is that we've got some pretty special players in here. We even, as a group, we used to go and play and beat other academies. So we'd go to places like Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham, and play as Epsom Eagles against them at that age. It was just insane.
We had the likes of like Reece James, Conor Gallagher, and then others that did move on to playing, like my best mate Ben Dempsey. He plays up in Scotland now, but we played at Charlton for 15 years together. We went to the same school, so it was So he was special to me, because it's just a relationship that you can't really break. I'll always be there for him, and he'll always be there for me. So it's a nice feeling to have someone like that.
Probably would have been about 6 or 7. We first played against each other, Sunday League, and then I eventually ended up joining the same team as him. So we both played for Epsom Eagles. Yeah, that was where it started originally, just playing on Sunday League. It was probably my second family. I was always around there. We'd always go out, but the only problem was they had a cat at the time, and I was so scared of cats, so I used to hate going around because they'd jump out and scare me. No, they were brilliant with me, and like I said, any time if my parents couldn't make it, they'd take me to training with Alfie, and vice versa. Still brilliant with me now. As soon as my daughter was born, they sent over lots of clothes, gifts.
She had a baby, and yeah, it was lovely to meet her last week as well for the first time. So definitely growing up now compared to when we were at school. So it's a surreal feeling. Sorry.
Remember when we got our first paycheck as kids, we both went shopping the next day, and he literally spent all of his money and he had nothing left for the rest of the month. So that was a struggle getting to and from training on the train. But so I helped him out as much as I could, but we weren't getting paid very much at the time, so it didn't go very far. But that's probably just his character and how he was growing up. First time getting money, so just got all excited and went and bought a tracksuit. And I think he got himself a Stone Island body warmer, I think it was, if I remember correctly. And the tracksuit he bought he couldn't wear because it was like a velvet material and it was itching him too much. So anytime he did wear it, he was wearing 2 tracksuits. He had one tracksuit underneath it, so he was always sweating. But that's probably the one that pops to mind.
These are quite good. They used to do things like this where they'd make it into a pretend magazine.
Yeah. When he made it.
Oh yeah, like the 30 magazines, yeah.
So it's just like the World Cup. I think it was the year of they would get with Sven-Göran Eriksson, which is quite funny. There's another one here, which is probably like as I said, it's more of these official photographs of when he first joined the academy at Charlton. They used to give out like every quarter, I think it was, they give out like awards to different players for working hard and performance and so forth.
I mean, I started playing for an academy at a really young age. I joined Charlton at 6, so from primary school really. I was travelling into Charlton, so South East London. So it was very much a decision that we had to make. There were clubs closer, but as a family, we had to make a decision what was best for my growth really. And we had a choice between Reading and Charlton, and we chose Charlton. But we always used to make it happen where it was either dad take me into football or mum. It would mainly be mum, but yeah, it was travelling after literally finish school, get in your car and off you go to Charlton.
And don't get me wrong, you have to buy into that. I never see it as a negative in terms of the sacrifice. It's just something that I think I just quickly realised that you have to do it. And I remember talking to my wife Fiona about it, and I said, look, if we're going to do this, we've got to go all in.
I hate saying it, but yeah, I think I wouldn't be where I am without them, especially for their dedication over the years. It's not been easy for them, especially there's been times where it's like football was never really going to be an option. If it was going to be trying to pick another career, but I think it's just my way now of trying to pay them back with whatever I can for them.
My wife, she was with my daughter. That was probably the worst. I think there was a time when it was just getting really out of hand, where the traffic just seemed to get increasingly worse on the M25, and my daughter was having to come. They they were coming home eating late, or my daughter was trying to do her homework in the back of the car. You're in a car park, waiting for Alfie to finish, and then you've got to get back in the car, drive all the way round home again. And we found little shortcuts and things, but I remember actually weirdly, Paul Hart was at Charlton, and we had with Steve Avery, and we had a massive heart-to-heart with him. Excuse the pun, where we just said we were at breaking point. We just said we can't do this anymore. We had to create a community circle around the whole, organise ourselves through the week really just for Alfie. So I've got so much to thank with them, all of them really. And also my daughter being, when I look back now, she never had a normal childhood in that respect. She was always being pulled from pillar to post, but she's grown up amazing. She's doing really well, and I think she loves watching Alfie play, and so almost feels the pride of what he's achieved. She feels part of it, which is really nice to see.
My last academy manager, Steve Avery, he made sure you always got to stay grounded in those type of situations you're in, because it can easily get to your head. You can see that some young players, they'll be earning ridiculous, stupid money at a young age, and sometimes it fizzles out. Sometimes it works for you, but sometimes it doesn't.
Well, obviously, I was Alfie's first contact when he came to the club, because I used to do the pre-academy back in the day, which meant they come into me at 8. So Alfie coming to me along with, obviously, as you already mentioned, Ben Dempsey from that area. So I was his first coach at Charlton. So when he came in, he was a complex kid. He came in as they all were, but it was a challenge, but he was always, you could always see he was a talented kid.
What I found with Alfie is that, and you have to do it with a lot of players in all honesty, and then you have to be firm, but you're being fair at the same time, and outlining the reasons why you're doing it. Sometimes it might be short and sharp, sometimes it might be a one-to-one, sit down here with me and we'll have a conversation about this. But I would have done that with Alfie as well, but what I found was that he responded well to that. He wouldn't sulk about it. And referring back to his parents, I always knew that they were behind everything we did here.
I always liken Alfie to there's a line that you don't cross it, and he'll stand on the line or just put his toe over it. But generally, I think he understood, for game. We had difficult conversations, and but I think because his football's, when you're in an academy, it does consume you. So really, your only real friends actually, because you're committed to it, are your football colleagues. So I was always the ogre on those things. And also to your point, it's a good point you make, that we always spoke about every year. This could be your last year, Alfie. That was our mindset.
If you take those type of people, like my academy manager, my family and friends as well, and school teachers as well, because I was still doing college as well. So you've got to make sure that you don't let it get to your head, and I think that was the main focal point as being a 19-year-old making my debut. I think because the one person I'd probably say was Joe Francis. When I was younger, he was like a second dad to me.
Alfie said when we spoke to him, you were like a second dad to him.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's really lovely to hear. That means an awful lot, you just try and be consistent with young people, The skills of a good mentor teacher are you've got to be a good listener, you've got to be there when there's down times, and inevitably in this arena, professional sport, there's going to be some tough times, you know? So you just leave your door open.
He'd be the one that would make sure that I kept on doing what I'm doing, but he's like also like this one of the scariest mans alive when he gets angry. Like I've experienced that firsthand.
I think if you've known a young lad for a long while and you're consistent and it's not done with malice, but it's a reminder, it's a combination that has worked for me working with young players. Alfie always knew where he stood. And it would never ever be personal. It would always be a reminder about appropriateness and behaviour and living up to the badge, you know, because you represent the club, you represent an extended body of people here. But yeah, there's always times when you have to flick the switch, you know, and he always responded positively. I'm always also mindful that if you give a young person a volley, you let it settle, and then you follow up and you give the reason why. And I think Alfie always respected that.
Because you're doing really well in school, it kind of can get to your head as well. So I think with him, it was always nice to make sure that he always kept me going in the right way possible, because he knew that I wasn't the best in school and he knew I wasn't the best well behaved and academically well. But at least he made sure that I was just making sure that I kept doing what I'm doing with football, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Somehow, I don't know how, but Charlton got an invite to this. But if you look, if you hear the music, it's the proper FIFA like entry music and everything. The bit I was laughing about this morning was just watching the players come out, because they don't actually know what they're meant to. They sort of start looking at each other like, what are we supposed to do here? You can see Alfie at the back there, and then they'll start looking at each other like, what should we do?
That would have been when he was probably 15. A fantastic experience for the boys, obviously.
Yeah, tremendously exotic to go all that way. And like I said, his year group were very, very talented. I think Alf was part of the first team that went there.
Not the highest grade tournament, but these are all experiences, aren't they?
It's not, I'm actually watching it a second time, it's not that great. Spoon the header, but that was what I saw this morning.
Going to tournaments, whether it's in this country or whether it's abroad, and if it's at an exotic location like the Cayman Islands, then I suppose that's an added spice to it all. You find out so much about the players, really, when you're away, living together, eating together, playing together, day in, day out. Get to know them, experience, as well as they get to know you as well. My experiences of Alfie more on trips like that would have been when he's been on under 18 or under 21 training camps.
Even from that very, very young age, and even going on that trip, it was evident that we had a group that was filled with players that could have a career in the game. But those experiences they're unforgettable for players. Alfie will get to 35 and still remember that. These are formative experiences for young boys, and we're very proud of being able to offer our kids that.
Final scores: Charlton 4, Cayman Islands 1. Charlton Athletic 3, IMG Academy 1. Charlton Athletic 3, Relentless 0. Charlton Athletic celebrate winning the first ever Cayman Airways Invitational.
I was just saying to Steve, do you remember the goal he scored in the FA Youth Cup at QPR in the 3rd round? He scored from 70 yards out.
Yeah. But when you're away from home in the last couple of minutes. Oh, what an effort that is. What an incredible effort that is. And what a goal that is. Give him every credit, the number 11. Alfie Doughty has banged one in there from fully 55, 60 yards perhaps, and the celebrations tell their own story, don't they, in the 90-odd minute.
And Alfie, we're in stoppage time, we're leading 2-1, ball comes to you inside your own half and you smash it into the back of the net.
He'll tell you meant it, but...
Was it a shot?
I was, yes and no. But I think I just hit it really, and lucky enough it went in, but at the end of the day it was a clearance. I'll admit it was a clearance.
There we go, get out of him eventually.
And I just remember being lifted off my seat, and I watched it again this morning, and it's still just as incredible. And he was an exciting player to watch. He really was.
Alfie always had a tremendous left foot, absolutely tremendous left foot, and it stood out. You know, his talent, his control, and his burst of pace. As I'm sure you probably realised that Luton, he could leave you standing.
Left-footed players sometimes stand out a little bit more. Maybe I'm biased there because I'm left-footed myself, but they do, and they're precious, I feel, and they're even more precious probably, not just because they've got a good left foot, but they've got some athleticism as well. So he shone to prominence with those athletic and technical abilities.
Yeah, you think you always saw his natural ability, but I think it was when we were probably scholars at Charlton, and then he was playing up with the under-23s, and he was probably the best player there. And then he ended up going on loan to Bromley in the National League.
Alfie Doughty.
And we've always had that connection with Bromley, like growing up, like playing against them in like cup games and stuff like that. But I think it was then, and then I played for them for about 2 months.
What I will go back to though is a loan before that, which was his very first loan at Kingstonian, which would have been in the Isthmian Premier. And I remember going to watch him a number of times when he was on loan there, and that was his first foray into senior football. At that lower level, of course, but he had to prove that he could compete with men. And that was the time, I think, then, when he went there and played something like 15 games for Kingstonian and scored goals as well. That, to me, was a significant moment, I felt, in his development, where I felt he was starting to prove himself in the men's game. I also remember a time when he played for the first team, and he made one appearance, I think it was, in the League Cup. Then he was back to the 21s, and that's typical of what happens in the transition journey. And he wasn't performing particularly well in the under-21s. And I remember Jason Newell, who was the coach here with the 21s at the time, saying, I'm not going to select him for a league game, he's not going to start the game. He can go and play in a midweek friendly. And we just so happened to set up a midweek friendly against a local team to where I live in Sussex, Broadbridge Heath. So he played in that game that evening. I remember him sitting there in the changing room before the game, and he would have been the oldest player in there. He would have been about 19, and he's in there amongst 18 and 17-year-olds, maybe even a 16-year-old. And he didn't give me the impression that he wanted to play. So I just had to go over and have a quiet word with him and say, well, you're the senior player in here. You're dealing with a difficult moment in terms of why you're here, and your performances have not been that great in the 21s recently. You've got to prove your point here tonight, that you care, that you can be professional, and you go out there and you dazzle. And he had a blinder.
This was the first game I was talking to you about. This was like, whoa, what's happened just there? He looks a lot skinnier there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It was a good goal, but I sort of see there just a little push and run. Initially, I did actually go, "What are you doing?" Because I thought we should have passed. But yeah, just sort of like, I think I was right in the corner over here. I think I just sort of almost sunk to my knees a little bit in disbelief. He's just done that.
I got a call from the Charlton manager, Lee Bowyer, and he was saying that there was a massive bug going around the club, and I had to come back to play for him. And I managed to get my first start against Sheffield Wednesday. It was on Sky Sports, and a really good game actually. It was probably one of my best games I had back then when looking at it.
He told us he was in the squad. He said, "Oh, I've got you," because one of the other standing jokes I had with Alfie was, now you're in the first team, surely I can get a parking space at the ground, and I haven't got to, panic trying to find a space around the ground. And he said, "Oh, I've got you a parking space." Me and Fiona were walking towards the ground, and we just heard somebody say Alfie's name, and I was like, wonder why they've said Alfie's name, and then because I hadn't twigged that they were obviously looking at the team on the internet, and then I got a text message from Steve Avery, just basically saying, "Simon, he'll be fine," with a thumbs up, and I thought, a bit strange message from Steve, and got to the ground, and then they gave us, as we went in, I got the ticket, they gave us a team sheet, and I saw his name, so he didn't even tell us that he was playing.
I didn't realise that. No, I didn't realise that. No, I don't. I'm trying not to sound too full of myself here, but there's been that many appearances by so many young players. You don't remember every start and who it was against, but the parents will do it, of course.
Confident play by Doughty, and a chance here for Bond. Oh, and it's in! Well, there is the break they were looking for.
Was that my son that just did that in a first team game? The experience of seeing your son play for the first time in a first team game is incredible.
He's mentioned Alfie Doughty, and how impressed were you of someone playing left back, your position? He's not a left back.
No, I mean, I'm sure Ben Harrington was going to play, but then all of a sudden this morning, he put in a young left winger. We've been playing out of non-league, playing against Kadeem Harris, who's really, really good at this level, and he had to swap wings.
I just remember now, just thinking about it like that, just basically set me a path that I've kind of just got on really. Become like a man.
And then it's, of course, from there, and I think this is one thing I would say with football is, there's always and I think Alfie might have said this, is that I found that I always do the yeah but. So you get, if I take a step back to under 9, he got to be get in the academy and getting a 3-year contract, so to speak. My immediate answer was well done, but it's only 3 years. And then when he got another year, it was yeah but. And then when he got in the first team, I think I almost said again there, and it wasn't just well done, that was amazing. I went, yeah, but now you've got to stay in the first team. That was his first goal for Charlton. That was Boxing Day.
That was Boxing Day, wasn't it? That was the best Boxing Day ever.
Great ball to find it, Bjorn De Silva. Bond to the point, ball back across Doughty! Oh, yes! Alfie Doughty! Has buried it for Charlton! What a superb goal for the Alex! Banging the winner. It's Macaulay Bond and Alfie Doughty. They do the tunnel jump, and well deserved at that.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have this opportunity, and I'm just trying to take it with both hands really, and just do the best I can. And today just topped it really off with a win after, like you just said, after tough weeks, and then to finish a win at home on Boxing Day, you can't really beat it, to be honest.
From then on, I played, I think it was 28 games in the champ, so it was from November that season. And I think that was when that was when I kind of really got interest from other clubs as well. So I think from that, that point there, it was like, okay, now I'm in this for real. Like, I want to get this as my. I don't want to stop now. I kind of want to keep going.
Who's responsible for Alfie being this good at football?
Oh, me, absolutely.
There's a lot of controversy with that one.
I saw Simon last night and we mentioned this, and Alfie was saying it's definitely not Simon.
I jokingly say to him, he's got all my ability.
He's got a left foot like mine, but that seemed to just deteriorate over the years after we had a little session on in Mallorca on the holidays, and yeah, he's definitely hasn't got what he used to have.
Well, we did have a bit of a mini competition on holiday, and with an inflatable goal at the end of the swimming pool, we were sort of kicking that into the and I seem to recall I beat him on that actually, which he wasn't very happy about. He blamed it was like a volleyball, and he blamed that. He said it was the quality of the tools.
A lot of people would say it would be from my great granddad, and then some people on my mum's side would say it would be from my granddad, who's a jack of all trades with sports. So yeah, so it is a very interesting conversation to have with my family. But yeah, I think maybe I just got lucky with the ability, really, I guess.
What's frustrating is he's I don't know if it's the same for most footballers or sportsmen in general. They're just good at everything. You know, he can throw, even when he was younger. I mean, I always remember I bought one of those little rugby balls, and we used to throw it to each other, and I'd throw it and it would do that sort of twisting because you're not throwing it properly. And he just threw it back to me, and it came back like an American football dart. And I'm like, how did you just learn that? You know, and it was like, so, and then his running was really good, and you know, you play tennis and he'd be good at that, and you know, golf, you know, it's just really annoying that he can sort of pick something up and be half competent at something, whereas I'm like complete opposite.
Well, Alfie, welcome to Stoke City. It seems to be a transfer that's been in the making for some time. How pleased are you to finally get it over the line?
Yeah, just really good feeling. I think, like you just said, it's been a long journey, but I think it's finally over the line. So I'm really happy about it.
I went through a tough stage in my career with Stoke.
There was a number of clubs that were asking about him, and we as a family, we did a whole pros and cons for different clubs, different opportunities, and we, you know, and the final choice was Alfie's to go to Stoke, and the initial view was Stoke was a club that had been in the Premier League and had all the facilities and would be a really good opportunity, a real big stepping stone for him. You know, there were some big players there when he first arrived.
How much of a wrench is it for you to leave Charlton after such a long association with them?
Yeah, 15 long years. I can't thank him enough. I mean, going through the academy and then Bo as well, like giving me the opportunity. But I think with these things, you've got to move on. But like I said, I can't thank him enough. But I'm happy where I am now, and can't wait to just start cracking on.
It was a tough period for him because obviously when he moved to Stoke, he was injured. Like you said, he just torn his hamstring and had surgery. So it was about getting back to fitness.
I had a ruptured hamstring, so I was doing rehab. So I joined Stoke being injured, so I wasn't with the boys. Then I come back, new player, new season, thinking, right, this is my opportunity to crack on.
In hindsight, and that's a wonderful thing, your point you just made about moving away from home is a really good one. We properly underplayed the importance of that. It wasn't like he was living away from home and being in, say, Luton, where we could get around easily. He was living sort of three and a half hours away, and we just kind of just assumed that he was okay, and it was a difficult time for him because he was trying to get out on the pitch, and he's, sometimes, I don't know if it's the same for most, well, I feel like it is for most footballers, everything all right? Yeah, it's all right. They don't open up.
I've enjoyed moving up north. Living by myself, it feels the first time living away from my family, so I think I've dealt with it well.
I always used to have injuries, like my hamstring injuries would just continuously like happen again and again. And then as soon as I was fit, I just never really got picked. And I was always bummed down to the 23s. I went to go on loan to Cardiff again, kept on getting injuries with hammies, and it was a horrid time for me. And then you start feeling sorry for yourself as well, and you think, how are you going to get out of this?
I did say to him, keep trying, keep battling, and that's what he did. He just kept. I said, you can just wait for your opportunity.
What does that look like for you when you get home from training and you're maybe on your own? Who's there to support you? Who's there to help you and help you through that time?
Beer.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, it's as dark as it sounds. It's like you're by yourself, aren't you? Like you're not necessarily there to like, for example, you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, all right, today's a new day and stuff like that, and you wake up and then the next thing you know, you're not at the races again, because you're just thinking about, are you actually going to get out of this dark hole that you're in? And unfortunately, living by yourself definitely takes a toll on that.
Yeah, me and Alfie, we know each other inside out. We speak about everything. So I knew he was struggling, and I knew he was, like I said, he would have a couple of beers. Yeah, I've always spoke to him about it, because I'm probably more of the sensible one. So I try and put my arm around him. Tried to be there for him as much as I could, and yeah, just to get him to sort of open up and tell me how he was feeling, which isn't always easy.
I would try and speak to him every day, and so like I said, you just get that. Yeah, I'm fine. What are you having to eat? And you would take him on his word that he's eating well. He's putting in the hours, and it just. Yeah, I'm almost frustrated. I feel guilty in a sense that I just didn't go to him. Actually, I'm going to come and live with you now for a couple of months.
When you're injured, does it affect family members?
Yeah. Oh, my dad. Yeah, he's a completely different person.
A couple of times I'd go up and see him, go to the games, and you think everything's okay because we'd go to, but I could see the frustration because he wasn't playing, and I should have said, you know what, I'm going to probably stay up here and work here, and I didn't.
Some would say that he's more involved than I am, because I have no idea half the time, and he's the one that's telling me who I'm playing on the weekend or what have you. But you can tell, like, and it's not a bad thing. Like, everyone's in a mood, because I'm in a mood if you're injured, because like you want to watch your son play football. You've been watching him for the past 20 years, 24 years. So for family members, it takes a toll.
You just assume that things are being taken care of, and footballers have to be very self-sufficient, very disciplined, and there isn't always that support network if you're away from home.
As a parent, when you call when your son calls you, call in saying, I don't feel great and whatever, when you're 4 hours away, it's a bit easier than just popping round for a tea or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm not that type of person anyway. I hate expressing my feelings, so I just like to keep it to myself.
Alfie was going home and he was on his own, so that is probably a regret I'll live with, because I think that was a mistake. But he got through it, which is the best thing.
For me, I've gained so much more than what I've lost from that club. Like, I had a bad spell, yeah. Like, everyone has a bad spell in their career. Like, no one's going to say it's been hunky-dory the whole time. But for me, I think I'm actually grateful that it did happen, because A, I wouldn't be where I am and I haven't had the opportunities I've got, and B, I've got friends for life that I know that I can call on whenever I want. So I like to think of it as a positive.
Alfie Doughty, welcome to Luton Town. You've signed a permanent deal, having left Stoke City. How does it feel to be here?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. It's a fresh start, and I want to get started straight away.
It was a conversation. So I remember I was on holiday and I got back from Portugal, and I remember getting a call from my agent saying, right, we've got an opportunity here to play for Luton. Bearing in mind, I knew what they were about last year, because I mean, nearly got promoted the season before. So it was like, in my head I was thinking actually Luton's better than Stoke, like without a shadow of a doubt.
Stoke had said they wanted him to stay, and then they said, and I was saying to Alfie at the time, you know, this is now pre-season, you know, work on getting back into the squad. So we were thinking about that, and then he got a phone call saying that Luton had inquired, and I think initially it was a loan. I think they touted it was a loan opportunity, and then it quickly changed to no, actually Luton would like to buy you. And we, ironically, me and Fiona were on holiday as well. So and we had a general chat, three of us on the phone, and I just said, you've got nothing to lose by having a conversation.
My agent now has got a relationship with my dad that I think he goes here to him before me. Just purely because my dad's a lot better at business deals than I am because of his job. So I think for me it'd more be like we'd always find out together, but no, we'll always talk because that's just how it is. My dad's, again, is just involved as I am, but we made that decision. And I think it's been the best decision of my career so far.
He met Nathan, had a good chat with him.
He just pitched it to me, and it was just one of those things where you just think, finally again, because again, like that stage at Stoke and Cardiff, like was a downside, but finally felt like someone believed in me again.
We just went, go for it. And then we kind of made a sort of quick decision. It felt really quick, actually, in terms of how things all came together. And I have to say, I felt a little bit out of control because I was on holiday, and I'm thinking, I need to, should I come back? And he was like, no, I'm fine. I'm going with Scott. And so I was, just wanting to make sure that he was comfortable. And then it was weird how we both looked at it as a reset. I mean, even something I don't know if he mentioned about like when we sort of on the phone talking about squad numbers, and we both, without asking each other, we both said 45.
It was the number that I made my championship debut with, and ever since then I've kind of just wanted to keep it. I've got it tagged like everywhere. I've got it there. I've got somewhere else it says 45. Oh, there you go, there, 45. So it's tattooed everywhere on me.
And it was like that, reset mentality. Let's start again. Let's really work hard and let's see what happens. And so it was weird how we both had the same thought process, without even having the conversation.
For Luton, Alfie Doughty makes his debut. Doughty breaks away, delivers in!
Down to the outlet again. Know what kind of delivery he's got. Has to go around the outside. It's a good ball too! And it's in!
Working something here, Doughty cracks it at goal and it finds its way in! Curled back in by Alfie Doughty and into the net! Tom Lockyer, the Luton skipper, with a flying header. Luton don't know why they're still playing. We know now. Luton Town heading to Wembley. What a wonderful achievement.
That day was, special.
You'll make me cry. That was one of the most amazing, so I will have to get quite emotional. Sorry.
And I think how we did it as well, like it wasn't easy. Everyone's heart was in their mouth, and it was a great day. I mean, apart from Locks, but look, we did it for him. It was just an amazing day, and I think I had about, how many did I have? I think I had 20 people there. So for them to all be there was just the best feeling in the world.
Alfie got us the tickets for me, my dad, Fiona, and Fiona's sister to go into the have the lunch beforehand at Wembley. But we all met as a family in a pub near Waterloo, and there was friends there as well, and that sort of built up. And then we left early, we got on the tube, and I was absolutely fine. I was just like, I'm just quite excited about this. And, you know, me and Alfie have been to a couple of playoff games before at Millwall, and so we had good and bad experiences, you know, of winning and losing, and just as fans. And I remember, and I got off the tube and just saw, and we walked up the steps, came out of Wembley, and just saw Wembley Way and a sea of orange and blue, and I just cracked. It just absolutely went. And just even now thinking about it, it was like, you know, my son's playing here, and that was quite hard to take. And then started walking. Fiona was reassuring me, and then we got there, and it was just the best day ever. Absolutely incredible.
Doughty. Fadgen sticking close to Adebayo, who's done pretty well. He's done extremely well. He's done brilliantly. And Luton lead in the playoff final with a fabulous goal. Smashed home by Jordan Clark. Brilliant build-up play by Adebayo.
Do you know what? It's just a feeling that you can't like describe unless you feel it.
It didn't sink in probably for about 2 days. I think it was just the whole. Even now the emotion pours out. I suppose it was a culmination of all the hard work, because I never thought we'd play in the Premier League. I never thought he'd get the chance, and so for him to do that was just a dream come true. Sorry.
That was a long, forever dream of mine, and then it to happen, and then to fully be in that moment with that team. Because as well, like, I can't praise Luton enough, like with the club. I mean, it's not just a club, it is just everything when it comes to family and your friends. Like, you always want where you go every single day. Like, you spend more time there than you do at home. So you want it to be a good place, and for it to happen to such a good club as well. Like, I mean, what was it, 80,000 at Wembley? Like, I just think it was brilliant, and yeah, it was special. And as a dream, yeah, you don't really, it doesn't get any better than that.
Not sunk in yet, I think. I don't understand. Don't know what's going on. I think it's a dream. This is the reason why I came to this club. I saw potential, and like you saw out there today, like the boys just ran and ran and ran, and we didn't stop, and we were relentless with it. Do you know what? Celebrate these moments, because they're going to be a memory tomorrow. So I think, yeah, amazing. Especially I love this guy as well.
It was a really long hug for me and my dad. Yeah, it was a long hug, and it was a long old hug, and it just meant something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just no words, just a hug.
I seemed to wait absolute ages for Alfie to come up, and so. But I remember seeing Amari's family and just different people. Just everyone was just so nice, and it was just an incredible feeling. And then he finally come up, and he just gave me that look, like as he does, you know. And it didn't really say too much, it just a look of acknowledgement and a nice exchange.
Like you don't need to say anything because you know what you're thinking, and it's just like it's emotional.
Yeah, just immense. Really proud. Really proud.
The fact that he proved himself in the Championship, and there he was then with the opportunity to prove it in the Premier League. So I followed him very closely last season. And it does make you very proud, like it does with all the other players when they get to that level.
You never know how a young player's career is going to go, you know. And it wasn't, you know, immediately obvious that Alfie would get to that top rung. And that just shows how hard-working and resilient he has had to be.
And I sort of, you know, again, it was that, you know, why we got the, you know, again, all I was thinking about was, oh my God, pre-season, you know, you got to think, you know, don't go mad, you know, you got to think about pre-season, you know, but yeah, I mean, and the celebrations afterwards as well, it was just really special. You know, I think, as I said earlier on, it's the first time, I think, as I say, as a family, it just felt like we properly, you know, we were all able to properly celebrate.
Alfie, how does it feel to be back?
Great. I enjoyed the break, but it's great to be back and see everyone. It's a bit wholesome, yeah. Me, for example, was first time playing in Prem, like, I'm not going to be used to it, so I think I need to make sure that I am as fit as I possibly can and yeah, take another step. You dream of that sort of stuff, really, playing in the Premier League, and the fact it's going to be about 3 weeks away. It's a bit of a like pinch yourself moment, but I'm really looking forward to it and see how well we can do.
The day they've been dreaming of as Luton Town play in the Premier League for the very first time. The horrors and hardship that plunged the football club down into the National League in 2009 have made way for a place amongst English football's elite just 14 years on. Estepinian breaks in behind the Luton defence, rolls it across goal! And it's the fourth goal of the afternoon.
It's definitely tough. Like it was. Like let's not beat around the bush. Like it was. It's the hardest league in the world. Like don't let anyone else fool you with that one. Do you know what? It wasn't actually from another Premier League team, but it was just from me not starting the first 4 games. Like I didn't start the first 4 games. And Ryan Giles is a great player. Like just yeah, he took his chance. But like for me, I think it was when you're up against the ropes, like you need to up your game, and I feel like I did. And then I think with that one, I think I made sure that when I'm in the team, I want to stay in the team. And again, like that just resulted in my performances, like with the assists and everything. But yeah, but there are times where you are faced up against a player and you just think, yeah, wow, they are good.
I mean, certainly he said to me about the pace was, you know, that was the thing he noticed straight away, and it's unforgiving as well, isn't it? There's that you've got to be on it every single week. You know, you can't take your foot off the pedal.
Luton Town, one of the biggest Premier League underdogs in history, but right now they are just 1 place away from safety in the Premier League table. A group of players fighting tooth and nail to show they deserve to be on this stage. Doughty into the Sheffield United area, easily past Harmer and into the back of the net. Luton Town take the lead, and it's Alfie Doughty who's been posing problems in the opening minutes here this afternoon.
Alfie Doughty for Match of the Day. How does it feel to have scored your first ever Premier League goal?
Yeah, it's a bit weird saying like that. At the moment you don't really feel it, but no, it's amazing. It's what you dream of, really. I was again, it was just another. You don't really think about it like as it's a Premier League goal, like a first Premier League goal, and for it to happen on Boxing Day, again having your family there in the crowds, it was again like it was a lovely moment.
And it was weird because it was at the far, you know, standing behind the goal, and when the ball went in, it was a weird thing because I thought it was in, but it was a bit of a sort of muted celebration because it was like a delay of everyone in the away end. Nobody sort of appreciated the ball had gone in. And it wasn't until I started seeing the players move across that I was like, oh, they have scored.
You pinch yourself after the game, knowing that first of all you got the win, and then second of all, like you actually got the goal. So yeah, so no, it was a great feeling.
But yeah, that was lovely. That was a lovely feeling as well. But and then obviously them celebrating.
It was a bit surreal, to be honest. Obviously knowing him since we were 6 or 7, and now I'm seeing him playing in the best league in the world. And not only that, but he's taken it in his stride, and he was doing brilliantly. Just seeing him come up against the players he was coming up against, like internationals, and then. But yeah, doing so well, it was definitely a proud moment. When he got his first goal, like you said, I was just proud, and obviously it wasn't, but it felt like I'd done it as well. It was just amazing to see.
Would I say that we adapted well? Yeah, of course. I feel like we came into our own, and I think as a unit, I think we really enjoyed being there, and that was why it was so devastating. Is because I feel like if you looked at some of the games last year, like Arsenal at home, Liverpool at home, Chelsea at home, Man United at home, like how many times would you say that we actually dominated a bit of that game? Like not a lot of people can say that, and I feel for us it was just devastating because we could have won those games, or we could have got more points than we did, and we didn't, and that's why we did end up where we were.
What message would you have to them just about you and your career?
Thank you.
I think I'd just say to him just to take a moment and look back at what he's achieved already at only 24.
We're all very proud of you here in terms of what you have achieved, and having come through that development journey. I think now 25 years of age nearly. I hope he still feels he's developing, and still there's more to come.
It was fantastic to be part of his journey. That's all I'm here to do, is to help him navigate his way through a very difficult and tricky period in a boy's life.
Keep aiming higher. There's probably nothing that he can't achieve.
Don't forget where you've come from. I think keep your feet on the ground. Always and keep doing the things that you've been doing to get you where you are today.
He trusted his talent, and I trusted his talent, and it wasn't easy, and teenagers never are easy.
As long as that success is reciprocated by Alf showing his joy for the game, then I've done my job.
Evaluate what you're doing and keep looking to improve. I think those are all the things for me are important.
He's a fine young man. He's grown into a fine young man. That comes from his family background, being consistent, and he's an exciting player. And the game needs exciting players and good people, and Alfie's definitely turned into one of them.
I know it's not been easy, and I'm not the easiest child in the world with behaviour, and I'm always someone that doesn't say no. I like to go out and stuff like that, but I would like to say, yeah, thanks for putting up for me. And thanks for being there for me, really. There's not much else I can say that will express my love for them, because they already know it. I do as much as I can for them now than I want to. So yeah, so it is mainly thank you for making the sacrifices. It is just a massive thank you with just it's thank you, and then it's like a bubble, and then you've just got branches, you know what I mean? So it is just loads of things I could say, but yeah, it's just it's an amazing feeling to have a family like that behind me.
People like myself and other people that you've got on this will not forget Alfie Doughty.
My dad, don't you dare say that, please. Let's just not involve him, because he'll love that.
I think he needs to do both.
No, what? Oh, he's gonna love that as well. Oh, for expectation is probably the word I'd say. So it is, yeah, they definitely made some sacrifices, but definitely getting wet now.
Let's pause it for a sec.